again. You're welcome to another edition of the N.O.W Show. This week, we're going to be concluding our health series, and we're going to be talking today on nutrition and mindful eating. Yes, mindful eating, because a lot of us just eat any way that we want. And joining me on today's episode is an expert in nutrition, Mrs. Sherese Ijewere. You're welcome, Sherese, to the N.O.W Show.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Delighted to be here.
Thank you, Sherese. Nutrition and mindful eating. People are already wondering, what are they talking about? So tell us, what's mindful eating before we come to what nutrition is? Okay.
So mindful eating is being conscious and aware of the things that you're putting into your body, into your mouth, on your body as well. That's also nutrition.
What you're putting on your body as well.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not necessarily what you eat alone.
That's correct.
Okay.
Whatever you put topically on your body also goes inside the skin.
Seriously?
Yes.
Wow. That's a new one for me. Okay. So nutrition, what's nutrition?
So the nutrition is the process of giving and getting the right type of foods for good health and growth.
So it's important so nutrition is an important part of the human existence.
Yes, it's a foundation of the human existence.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So something tells me we're going to have fun today. Okay, because I can see we have lots and lots of foods here.
Yes.
So I don't know how so Sherese, so tell us about how we're to be eating mindfully.
Yes.
What should I be doing? Do I need to be sick to start eating mindfully, or it should be part of?
It should just be part of your daily routine. So one, from children's age, making sure that as a parent, you're eating with your children. You're not just forcefully telling them to eat or eat your vegetables, and then maybe they're not eating their vegetables. Making sure that as an adult, you have a time schedule, a regimen, making sure that you eat breakfast. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Okay.
If you're not eating breakfast, by the time you get to lunch, then you would be famished. You will just eat whatever you see. And then when you are not eating breakfast, you're also snacking more. So the non-breakfast eaters tend to gain weight. Maybe tend to get sick more often. Just depends. Yes.
Really? So if you're not eating breakfast often, or because some people say that they're not breakfast people. I, for example, I'm not a breakfast person. So maybe because I do a lot of fasting, so I'm not used to having breakfast. So it has become a part of me. So are you saying that that's part of my weight problem or so?
It could be. And also non-breakfast eaters, the blood sugar tends to be imbalanced. So you find an up and down, up and down.
Please say that again. I need you to stress on that.
Non-breakfast eaters tend to have an unbalanced blood sugar. So when we say breakfast, it's not that you have to sit down to a big meal. You can just have something as simple as a smoothie. Whatever. Breakfast, the word breakfast derives from breaking the fast. You must break the fast from the night before.
From the night before.
Yes. And it can be a simple smoothie. Or it could just be a fruit. You just break the fast.
I think I'm going to have the smoothie because I haven't had breakfast.
Okay, that's good.
So, Cherry, tell me, what do you have in this smoothie?
So, in this smoothie, we have peanut butter, we have tiger nuts, and then we also have a bit of cocoa as well.
Okay, I could taste that.
Yes.
Okay, the cocoa. So
and banana.
Okay, so what do these things that you've just given me now, what are the benefits to my body?
Okay, so the peanut butter banana tiger nut smoothie is very good for breaking the fast. It helps with protein. You want to make sure you're having a bit of protein into your breakfast. That will take you over till lunchtime.
Okay, so just this.
Just that.
I'm okay until lunch.
You're okay for about 3 hours before your body will start wanting something else.
Okay. And this gives the energy required for anybody.
Gives you energy. It balances
no matter
your
the kind of
pressure.
work I'm doing, because there's some people who do real hard work.
So
Will this work?
Who do real hard work, your amala, wedu,
I was going to say that.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yes, but for us in the office, in the air condition all the time, sitting at the desk, typing away, you really only need a small smoothie.
Okay. Because those who eat the amala, the eba in the morning, they're actually doing a lot of physical work that helps them burn away some of the calories in the food.
Very true.
So that's why those who are sedentary should take things like this and not heavy meals in the mornings.
Correct.
Okay.
And then another advantage of taking breakfast is you'll be alert, you'll be more aware, more conscious, you'll be ready to be more productive.
Okay. So having breakfast helps your productivity.
Yes, it does.
At work.
Yes.
Or anywhere.
Or anywhere.
Okay. Okay. You know, it's interesting because the first time I came across a nutritionist was when I was sick and in hospital. Wow. You know, I had a stroke. So, of course, my diet needed to change and things like that. So, and I know that many people are like me, as guilty as I am. We've never thought about the services of a nutritionist or something. So, is a nutritionist supposed to be part of, you know, you have a doctor, you have a lawyer, you have a banker, you have... So should the nutritionist be part of who you should have on your team of people who look after you?
Yes. Okay. Absolutely. So whether you're ill, whether you're well, keeps your immunity on top. Because sometimes we're going on day to day, but we're not thinking of the fresh fruits. For example, you're to make sure you get 7 a day, especially in Nigeria. So the usual is you get 5 a day, but for Nigeria, with our stress, you need 7 a day. And 7 a day will mean
tell me what 7 a day means.
4 vegetables, 3 fruits, or 3 fruits, 4 vegetables. Did I say that the right way? 4 vegetables, 3 fruits, or
you are the expert.
4 fruits, 3 vegetables. Either way.
So 4 vegetables, 3 fruits every day.
Every day.
So when you say
3 fruits, 4 vegetables. Either way.
Okay. So where does my amala come in and all those other things, my rice and the staples, the Nigerian staples,
the staples, yes. So the staples, you want to make sure you're eating them at lunchtime. And you want to also make sure you have a plan,
and the orishirishi, you know, because some of us love beef, so because you're talking fruits and vegetables.
Yes.
So that vegetables alone isn't, in fact, it's not life when it comes to food, you know, for me. I don't know about other people, you know.
Your main meals, those are fine, but you have to know where your health is. How old are you? Because as you age, the gut changes. The gut is your second brain. This is where your immune system lies, is in your gut. So if you're constantly eating the inflammatory foods, rice every day. I've met some people where they eat rice for breakfast, rice for lunch, rice for dinner. That is just imbalanced.
Wow. Okay, so Sherese, help me here. Can we let's break this into stages. So from 0 to 20, what should somebody be eating? From 20 to 40, then 40 to 60. Then, you know, over 60, where you're almost going home. So, you know, so what should it be?
So 0 to 20, your balanced diet, your breakfast, your soups and amala and so forth for lunch, for dinner as well.
When you talk soup, are you talking the African soup or you're talking
African
about?
Soup. Yes, whether it's okra, ewedu, so forth. For dinner as well, you can have whatever you want. Certain days you want to limit all those outside processed foods, even when you're young, because what we're finding now is a lot of autistic children, people with autoimmune disorder, and our children are grossly obese. It's not even a cute way anymore, because you go in schools and you can't even pick up a 10-year-old. If there's an emergency, that's my worry. What do we do? So 10-year-olds are obese now. And the obesity is from all those fast foods that are popping up. Of course, we follow the Western world. So now they're all here. We have to do something.
I think what has happened is that a lot of parents are very busy. I'm not making an excuse. So they're very busy. So they're not able to, you know, make meals like our parents used to make back in those days. So in order to help save time, they just branch at somewhere on their way back from work and pick up meals for their family. So are you saying that some of these meals can be unhealthy?
Very unhealthy.
Okay.
And to know also there's a price to pay. You either pay for those meals up front and get those meals and later on pay the price that comes with it, with the obesity.
Okay.
Our children are now having diabetes.
Really?
Before we didn't have that, but now it's an epidemic.
In children?
In children.
That's alarming.
That's
alarming.
Very alarming.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So,
wow.
yes, you can have treat days, but you need to make sure you have a schedule in the home. Yes, you're busy, but no, that busyness also comes with its consequence.
Okay. Okay. And thankfully, there are people who actually cook meals for families now where you can store in them so that you have healthy meals, so you can do away with this stopping at some place and buying junk food and actually get
in a while.
And actually get somebody and you put it in the house and things like that. Okay, tell me, Sherese, at certain ages, are there things that I need to avoid to maintain
so from age 25 I will say 30 going into the 40s, it's important that you get your medical check. Some people, because they're so stressed at work. So at 25, they may have high blood pressure, which before you would find high blood pressure maybe at 40. 45. But those diseases are starting to creep early into the 20s age group.
So it's as a result of the tension or let me say the evolving culture, there's so much people are weighed with now.
Yes. The fast foods, they're not paying attention to what you're eating. And as you get older, things in the body change. It's important that, yes, at a young age, we chew our food. As we get older, we chew because digestion starts in the mouth. So when you're working all the time or you're so busy, you find that you just cut and swallow. So even rice, people are not chewing rice. And if you're not digesting in the mouth, it just goes all to the stomach. And then, of course, it's not distributed as it should be.
So even chewing your food is very important.
Very, very. Yes.
Because I'm sure a lot of people just
cut and swallow. Yes.
Wow. So it's important they chew very well.
So important.
To help digestion.
Yes. And then we find that a lot of our clients, whether they're sick or not, they're not going to the bathroom every day. Granted, not everyone goes to the bathroom daily, but at least every other day. You have people who haven't gone for a whole week.
Yes.
That's certainly not normal.
Okay, so when you find yourself in that situation, what do you do? I need help with that, especially. Yes. So what do? You
need to drink a lot of water. So here's water here. You need to drink at least 3 to 4 of this bottle. So that's about
3 to 4 of these bottles.
Yes. Per day.
In a day. Okay. Now I see where one of my problems comes from. I think I should start drinking water now. Okay. Sherese, please carry on. Don't mind me.
So as soon as you wake up in the morning, you want to make sure you drink a glass of water. Make sure it's room temperature. That helps with circulation, helps with getting the organs just lubricated. And then through the day, you pace the water. You want to take your time and drink the water, not gulp it down. Otherwise, you'll be into the bathroom immediately. So you want to make sure that
Take your time. So how do you take your time to drink the water?
Just as you did. You just sip it. There's some people who will just chug the whole thing down at once.
This is interesting. Wow. Okay.
So through the day, you space the water. And of course, it would be about 8 of these glasses or 4 of these bottles, 3 to 4 of these bottles. Okay.
So if I drink 8 of these glasses in a day, I'm fine.
You're fine.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And I need to drink that every day.
Every day.
Okay.
That will just be part of your routine.
Okay.
And water aids in digestion as well. So if you're constipated, you will drink your water. You'll make sure you're taking your green leafy vegetables. It's one thing to take, like for example, we have spinach here. It's one thing to take vegetables, and this spinach can be eaten raw. But I know that many of us overcook our vegetables, so it's no longer live and living like this. It's usually dead and brown, which of course doesn't add any benefit to the body as such. So when you're choosing your vegetables, you can for example, even put this in your garden, and then before you know it, it starts to run a vine.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So picking things from your garden, whether it's in a flower pot, that's also fine.
Okay.
And just make sure that your vegetables are the last thing you add to your food.
The last thing you add to your food. When you say the last thing you add to your food, explain that to me.
The last thing you add to the pot. So if you're one that puts stews down into the freezer, and then you take it out daily, every day there should be something fresh that goes in. Not that you're rewarming.
So your vegetables should not be cooked and
stored. Correct.
So you should make the stew, then add the vegetable just before 7.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's a new one. Oh, so people who cook vegetables and put in the freezer, they should stop that. Correct. It's not a good thing to do.
Yes. Some of the nutrients are lost. And of course, if you continuously warm up over time, you're just eating dead food.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Yes.
Then, I hear things like avoid salt, because of the sodium level. And so what do you have to say about things like this for people who don't know? Yes. Well, I've heard it. I try to do it. I substitute ordinary salt with sea salt, but, some people don't even come across this kind of information.
Okay.
So can you please enlighten us about things like this?
Yes, that taste buds, that palate on the tongue, you train it from an early age.
Okay.
So of course, in the household, if someone has high blood pressure, you're not going to cook 2 different pots. Let's just have 1 pot as a family.
Okay.
You train the family into, you put lots of seasonings like your herbs, your spices, things like whether it's onions, whether it's things like shallots. This is a tiny onion, helps with bacteria fighting. Whether it's spring onions, garlic, ginger, let that be the flavor of the food.
Okay.
Avoid those cubey things. Because there's something called MSG, which is monosodium glutamate. Yes.
Okay.
Which is very high in sodium.
Okay.
So you find that some people will put the regular salt, then they'll put the cube seasoning. Of course, that's double salt.
Okay.
And when you put all those seasonings
I'm guilty. I'm letting.
Then you take away from the natural taste of the food. So let the seasonings be the natural ones. You can also, if you don't have the sea salt, you can use iru.
Okay.
Locust beans.
Local. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And let that be the only sodium salt that's inside that food.
Okay. Okay. Well, you see, people use combination of the iru. They use salt. They use the cubes. They use, in just a pot of soup.
Yes.
So that's totally wrong.
Totally.
Wow.
And to be honest with you, our grandparents weren't using those cubes before.
Yes.
They were just going out in the garden.
But started with our parents. They started bringing us up with those cubes, and then down the tradition. We handed it down to our daughters. And so now we need to cut those cubes and start using the natural herbs and spices.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
And
amazing.
Of course, to note that those cubes and also just overdoing it with the different processed spices can also increase the blood pressure. The same way with an orange. When you take that orange and you want to juice the orange, you want to make sure that you put the orange directly in the juicer. That way you're getting the white of the orange inside the juicer as well.
Okay.
You're not going to juice it like this. Otherwise, it can cause your blood sugar to go up. But when you have the whole thing, just as you're eating the tangerine, that includes the fiber, all the nutrients that you're getting, the micronutrients, that's very good and balanced for the body.
Okay.
Things like your cucumber, you make sure that you eat it with the skin on. This is also fiber and good for you.
But they talk about, them preserving all these things with different kind of sprays now and all that. Is that also healthy to eat?
Well, one is know that once things are sprayed, there are some vegetables that they're very permeable. You will go into the vegetable. So it's important that you know where you're getting your produce from. Look for an organic market. We have several now. And the more that us as people say
give us about
organic,
2 examples of these organic markets.
Yes, there's one on the island, one on the mainland.
Okay.
Once you start asking
the one on the island, where is that?
That's in E08.
Okay, where in Ikoyi?
It is off Bank Road, I believe.
Off Bank Road in Ikoyi. Okay, yes. I'm sure people can Google it. Okay, yes. And the one on the mainland, where is that?
The one on the mainland, I just know it's on the mainland.
You just know? Okay. I'm sure we'll find it. We'll find that information when people call in and ask. Okay. Yes.
So as consumers, the more you tell your farmer or whoever it is that you're buying from that you want organic, is the more they'll start planting organic and not spraying. So washing your vegetables, washing your fruit is important.
I wish, we all had gardens where we could be having some of these things, but you know how we all grew up in homes with gardens, all of a sudden everybody's struggling to have their little space, no more gardens.
We have to make an effort.
Yeah, maybe flower pots or something, or you have
the
those
flower pots.
Yeah.
Because as I said earlier, this is spinach. Notice that this spinach is a red vine spinach. It looks like the blood vessels in our body.
Yes.
Therefore, it is very good in folic acid, in folate.
Okay.
Good for the bloodstream.
So I should look for spinach with this, with the purple, looking like. Okay.
Know that this would be more
nutritious. Okay.
Then we have grapefruit.
Okay.
And for those of you who are a bit skeptical about fruits and vegetables, you don't have to be sick to eat fruits and vegetables. You can also blend it and make it taste nice into a blended form. Okay. For those of you on medications, you'll want to check with your nutritionist first, because there are some people who are on some blood pressure medications who are to avoid grapefruit.
See?
Then
it's important when you're on medication to actually see a nutritionist.
It is.
To know even what you should be eating.
Yes.
Because combination could affect your medication.
Very true.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Then we have squash here, high in beta carotene, high in carotenoid. We have beetroot.
Okay.
And for those of you who are on medications, again, you have to be careful. Beetroot cannot just be eaten like this. You would have to cut it in 4, especially if you're going to juice it.
Okay.
And only have a quarter, because it can cause a bit of calcification in the kidneys. So you only take a little. There's some of you who, when you hear take this before you know you're eating this every day.
Yes.
There must be balance.
Wow.
And as you get older, the digestive system changes. Remember I said your immunity lies in your gut. So if your food is not digested properly, of course it causes other problems.
Yes.
So for the elderly, something like this, butternut squash or even moi moi or even beans, you want to make it very soft.
Okay.
Make sure you're not eating these heavy foods at night, because if you eat it at night, it's harder to digest. And then that can also lead to constipation at times as well. So for the elderly, they need very soft food. That can be blended and they take as just like a soup.
Okay. Wow. It's really interesting. I mean, this has been very enlightening for me, because what this has said to me is, I don't hear that take a lot of beetroot and I just go ahead and take beetroot. There must be a quantity I can take, especially if I am on medication.
Yes.
Some sort of medication. I can't just, so even with fruits and vegetables, I have to be careful.
You have to be careful.
Especially when you're on medication, to know which goes with your medication or not.
True. And if you have high blood
how much
sugar,
of what you can take. Because I heard you say beetroot, kidney, those. Wow, that's scary.
Yes.
So you can't just go into anything.
Right.
So we must look for nutritionists to be working with.
Yes, it's important.
As it is.
Because we do more shows on TV.
Yes.
And then it's segmented into different topics.
Because I can tell you, a lot of people don't think nutrition has a lot to do with their health or how they are, or, because already what you said to me, that what you even put on your skin matter.
Yes.
I never knew that. So that's a fresh one for me. It's a revelation. So tell me, what kind of things should go on our skins?
So something as simple as ori, shea butter.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
If you're taking anything off the counter, you want to make sure you're checking your ingredients, whether it's for the skin or to ingest.
Okay.
So read your ingredients. The first ingredient is usually the most ingredients in that product.
Okay. So what happens to all the lotions and creams that are sold off the shelf? You have to
be so careful because now they're endocrine disruptors. The endocrine disruptors means that it's disturbing the fertility. So you have a high fertility rise right now, whether it's from the cosmetics or just from the lotions, the creams. Fertility. Because whatever
your cream and lotion.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So you have to check your ingredients.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. We learn every day.
Yes.
We learn every day. You guys are really very important, so we need to incorporate having the nutritionist. So if you're out there, you have a family doctor, you have a lawyer, you have, in fact, some of us have gym instructors.
Right.
We have people who give us massages. Those are the kind of things that we concentrate on. Meanwhile, it's important to have the nutritionist tell you the quantity of each food you should be taking and whether, especially if you're on medication.
Okay.
So please, I hope that this, as it has been for me, has been an enlightening and enriching episode for you. And you've picked up a lot of tips because I haven't picked up one or two. I've picked up a lot. And that's why you see me, I've drank my smoothie, so in fact, I think I'm having more energy because this helps me, because I usually don't eat, in the mornings. And Sherese, it's been a lovely time having you. I'm sure we're going to bring you back more and more because people have a whole lot to learn from you. I mean, this has been really eye-opening for me.
I do want to leave 2 more tips.
Please, because I was going to ask you to please give us a takeout. So please, your tips. Yes.
Okay, so number 1, you mentioned massage. A lot of people get massages.
Yes.
Make sure, if anything else, after a massage, you drink a lot of water because there's a lot of lactic acid that is removed from the muscles with that massage. So lots of water.
Okay.
And number 2, with mindful eating, you want to perceive that aroma, chew your food well, be connected to the food.
Chew your food well, be connected to the food.
Yes. Enjoy each taste, each bite. Really take your time with the food that you're eating.
So don't just eat for eating's sake.
Right.
Eat to enjoy.
Yes.
To enjoy the food.
See if you
connect with the food.
Yes.
I connect with my food. A lot of people say that.
That's good. That's good.
Sherese, thank you so much for coming on the Now Show.
Thank you for having me.
It's been lovely having you. And from me and Sherese, signing off for the Now Show, please keep living healthy and eat mindfully.
Thank you.